Well, hello everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Green Side Up, the home edition. Again, in the greenhouse, sowing seeds. I've just finished sowing some bunching onions. These are Ishikura, a Japanese bunching onions. Now, I don't know what it is with spring onions. I've tried the common variety, White Lisbon, and a few others, and I've never seemed to manage to get them to grow. These Ishikura are ridiculously easy. You basically show them to soil and they're off and running. So I've grown these for a number of years now and I can't see me changing that. I even know I've got all the spring onion seeds in the house there. But they'll do me. They're multi-sowed in there. And this is in the Charles Dowd 60 tray that he made in conjunction with Container Wise. And yeah, the 60 cells there, anywhere between 4 and 5 to 7 or 8 seeds in every cell. So later on, when I come to harvest them, I just pick a bunch, bring them home. That's it, just one bunch. And there's enough spring onions there for a salad or an omelette or whatever. So I shall water them in a minute. That's that bit done. I'll show you this propagator, show you how stuff's doing. Now, on the bench here, just a normal bench in the greenhouse, I've got all my onions potted up. And there's a mixture here. There's some red Brunswick onions over there next to the glass. And then all these down here are Bedfordshire Champions. And then 3 trays of the long red Florence. And 1 tray of Zebrun shallots. I shall be sowing Zebrun shallots again probably the end of this month. That's when I normally sow them, just into March. I thought I'd try a few early, and half of those will be planted in the polytunnel and maybe the other half maybe in the other polytunnel. I just want to see if I can get them to a little bit of a bigger size than I have been. Anyway, that's just a trial. So all those, they're all going down the allotment in the morning, providing I do. Now, on the propagator, we've got multi-sown onions down on this end tray that you can see they're just starting to come through. Multi-sown leeks. This variety is not really showing much at the minute, just 1 or 2. And the Musselburgh over there, they're through. And some multi-sown shallots and long red Florence. And then as we move along, this tray is all the brassicas. They're all coming along nicely. Mostly all of them are through now. So they'll be potted on later this week. This tray is that mad tray I did of all the cosmos. So at least 3 of them are coming through. Maybe even 4 are starting. So that's pretty good. And I've got some bits in here, some cutting celery and some cabbage and some lettuce. And some more lettuce down there. Aubergines are looking a bit sickly and poorly. And the peppers the same. And then a whole load of flowers in that tray. Again, they're heading towards being potted on. So it's looking pretty good there. And I'm fairly happy. All that onion stuff, all of that is going to go down to the allotment tomorrow with these onions. And that will clear the propagator bench from the next batch of seeds. Right, I'm just going to sow 1 flower type and then I'll get on with some beetroot in a second. So this is Ammi Majus, or Bishop's flower as it's called. Now, yeah, it's a massive bag. Now what happened here was, I was ordering the seeds, I was on the website, and I thought I'd ordered 7 grams. It was only when I got the bag and realised it was 70 grams, I realised I'd ordered the wrong one. I've been and done a comparison of a seed per gram on a site and worked out I've got about 100,000 seeds here. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I use Ammi Majus as a foliage flower for when I'm putting flowers in the vase. It just fills the vase up and then you can poke your flowers through. Now, I was speaking with Audrey, a subscriber to Green Side Up, away from YouTube the other day, and she mentioned a phrase to me which I adore, and I'm selfishly going to steal it. She said, "There's never too many seeds. There is just never enough garden." And I think that's wonderful. So I'm nicking that one, Audrey, thank you. So again, these will just go on the propagator, a little bit of water. You don't water anything too much at this time of year. And that's those two done. Right, now we'll crack on with these beetroot. And again, I'm going to multi-sow these trays. And I think people go for more than me, but I look for about 3 per bunch, maybe 4. Because allegedly, I know what Charles wants to do. He goes around and he harvests or twists out the individual big beetroots. And that doesn't really work for me. I end up pulling the whole bunch. Maybe I'm a little bit too ham-fisted. I don't really know, but it doesn't seem to work for me, so I like to go for, as I say, about 3 per bunch. I can manage to get 1 out without ruining them totally. So, as these are big seeds, I'll just hand sow these. And it's very easy to sow. You just dibble a hole and basically just chuck them in. It's really not rocket science. So that's a Chioggia. That's got the concentric circles in it, kind of a pinkish colour. And this one is if I can open it. Why are seed packets so damn difficult to get into? This one is your standard beetroot, Boltardy. So again, just throwing them in the hole basically. It's not difficult. There we go. And the last one I'm sowing is it's a golden beetroot, Burpees Golden. Must be that one. So how are you all getting on with your sowing? Are you managing to keep up with yourselves and your plans? Because we all have plans at the start of the year, don't we, about what we want to grow, and we have these ideals of how many of this and that we'd like to grow and sow. And the reality often is that you can't get as much done as you really want to. I mean, my reality this year is I'm about 2 weeks behind from where I wanted to be. But that's weather. That's not me being lazy, thankfully. There we go. And that's those holes covered. So I also want to sow some herbs as well, and I generally grow 4 green herbs every year: parsley, dill, chervil and coriander. Oh, and basil as well. It's another green herb, I suppose. And another one of these Charles Dowding trays, the 60 cells. Now, where's me parsley? Be in a pocket somewhere. I grow this giant Italian parsley. Superb plant. It's 2 foot square when it's fully grown, and you get a ton of leaf off it. And I'm going to try, which is difficult, to sow just 1 or 2 in each cell. Now, one thing I found with parsley, they can be difficult to germinate, and I struggled when I first started trying to grow parsley many years ago. I just could not get them to germinate at all. And then I read in a book somewhere, somebody said to use near boiling water when you water them afterwards. And I do this every time now, and I have long since stopped having problems. You don't want boiling water. I would say as hot as a cup of coffee is served in the restaurants, that sort of heat. Boiling water will just, I think, just kill the seeds. So I'll also do some dill if we can find those seeds. There we go, this is dill bouquet. Again, tons of seeds in this packet from Premier Seeds. This is kind of an aniseedy flavour. Fantastically fish and with vegetables. I think I'll actually put them in there. So, do you grow herbs at home? I've got to grow some thyme as well. I've got some rosemary down at the allotments which needs dividing, cuttings taken. And I'll sow coriander in about a month's time, and basil as well. And that's it for that one. Some of those cells have got far too many seeds in. I'll just pinch them out when they're growing up. As long as I've got a plant in every cell, that's good enough for me. I've sown way too many seeds there. I won't need anywhere near that amount of plants. There's 30 parsley, 30 dill, and I'll be going for about half of them, or maybe a bit less. And the reason you sow more, if you work on the old adage, one for the rook, one for the crow, one to rot and one to grow. That's how farmers used to plant their seeds. So the first three go and you're left with one that grows. So, and that's generally what happens with seed growing. So if you work on that adage, you will always have enough seeds. And if I've got too many plants, I'll just pass them on to somebody else who wants them. It's not a problem. If you're down on an allotment site, you'll know this, because you'll get plants offered left, right and centre. And I'm always swapping plants. The only things I don't swap is brassicas. I don't want to get clubroot. I'll swap everything else. So there we go, there's a couple of herbs. Now I just need to water that part, the parsley, with some quite warm water that's gone off the boil from the kettle, and allow it to cool down to coffee temperature. You don't want it too hot, but just to set them off. And I think it just gives them a shock and tells them, oh, it's summer, when they start to germinate. Right, so that's it for today. I've managed to sow a few seeds. I potted on all these onions earlier today, and all those onions and all the onions on the propagator bench, they're all going down to the allotments, into the polytunnel and onto the hanging shelf tomorrow, providing I go to the allotment, that is. Then I've got the rest of these brassicas, the cosmos, some of the salad stuffs to pot on towards the end of this week. And in the meantime, I'll be sowing more seeds as I have just then, and starting to ramp things up a bit more. Plenty of work to do, plenty to get on with, and plenty to video, to be honest with you. But that's it for today. Look after yourselves, stay safe. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Keep cracking on with stuff and take care. I'll see you soon.